Hey there, welcome back to the Homemade Haven. Today I wanted to shoot a video for you guys on what to expect whenever you purchase a whole pig from either a farm or from a processor. This is something that we have recently started doing over the past 2 years, just with the amount of food insecurity that's been going on in the grocery stores. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed how grocery store shelves have been a little empty, and it has taken them a while to restock them, or maybe they stopped carrying some of the things that you're used to getting on a normal basis. So this was a way for me and my family to kind of cut the middleman out and give our business directly to a local farmer and local processor. And so we could stock up in bulk and fill our freezer. I wouldn't say that the cost is a whole lot better as far as per pound for the animal, but it is better quality meats, and we know exactly where it's from, how it was raised. And if you followed our channel and saw our video about how we processed our own chickens, that's something that's very important to me and my family, is knowing exactly what we're eating, what we're supporting, and how that will improve our lifestyle. So today I am taking the quick trip out to a little tiny town nearby us, which is the closest processor in our area. It's about a 40-minute drive, maybe a little less than 40 minutes from where we live now, but it's not too far, just down the road a little bit. So I'm driving out there today to pick up a whole pig that we purchased from our farmer friend. I don't know what the turnaround times are typically for processing, especially right now. I know that last year the processing times went up dramatically with the food insecurity, as I mentioned before. A lot of people were turning to processing their own animals or paying farmers to process animals for them. So I know that a lot of the wait times ended up expanding to 6 months to even a year in some areas. I know that our area was about 6 months out last time I checked. I don't know if that has improved at all since the beginning of the widespread panic over all of it. Thankfully, our farmer has a really good relationship with the processor and is able to get in a lot quicker than a lot of people. So we are very blessed and thankful for that. So for us, from start to finish, I believe the pig is was somewhere between 6 to 8 months old. Typically, we send them to processor when they're about 200 pounds. I think this pig ended up being a little bit smaller than 200 pounds, which isn't a big deal, but I just wanted to give you guys numbers so that you know pricing and figures, and then once I show you exactly how much meat we get from an almost 200 pound pig, you can kind of gauge what would work for your family, if you need to purchase a whole pig, or if you need to go in halves with somebody, or if the farmer would allow you to even do a quarter. That could be an option for you. So the way my farmer does it for us is she raises the pig, and then once it's time for processing, she takes it to the processor, and then we pick up and pay the processor directly. So we also pay the farmer for raising the pig. And the reason that we do that is because if she were to go pick the animal back up from the processor, she's going to be paying all the processing fees and taxes there through the processor, and then turn around and resell it to us and have to charge taxes as well, because she is a state verified meat farm, so she can legally sell the meat, but it saves us a lot more money for us to go directly to the processor and pick it up ourselves. And like I said, it's only about a 30-minute drive for us, so it's really not that far out of the way to go and pick it up. And for as often as we're picking up whole animals, which is only a handful of times per year, it's worth the 30-minute drive there and 30 minutes back to save that much money in the meantime. So if you are looking at purchasing a whole animal yourself, maybe ask your farmer if this is something that they would consider doing as well, to help save you a little bit of money in the meantime. Alright, so we just stopped and picked our pig up. The very first time I came out to pick up, I brought several coolers, and that was for half a cow, I believe it was. But I brought several coolers in the back of the truck thinking that it was going to take up so much space, but you'd be surprised at how much less meat you get off of, you know, an 800-pound animal or 200-pound animal. I don't bring coolers with me anymore. I found that it's just easiest to leave it in the boxes that they provide. Once the animal's processed, they put it in the packaging and then put them in boxes and keep them in their freezer until you come and pick them up. So the entire box is frozen solid, and it's just easier to leave them in the box the whole way home rather than try to take them out and put them into coolers before leaving the parking lot. It's just best not to disturb the meat. Now obviously if you have a long drive or you only have space in the back of a pickup truck that's not air conditioned, that sort of thing, then coolers and ice packs by all means. But for me, inside of my car, I keep it plenty cool in here, and with the 30-minute drive, it's worth it to just leave it in the boxes until I get home. Honestly, I really enjoy the 30-minute ride out to the processor. It's all back country roads, so a lot of cotton fields, corn fields, tobacco farms, that sort of thing. And as of the past 2 years, solar farms, which is completely unattractive, but you know, to each his own. I try to get you guys some footage of the little mill that runs there in the little town, but it was completely dried up, which is crazy. I've never seen it completely dried up, but I'm assuming because we haven't had hardly any rain in the past 2 or 3 weeks is probably why that is. But for us building a house, we're not complaining about the lack of rain. If we had a garden or we're trying to grow things right now, we'd probably be doing a rain dance. But at the moment, with trying to get things done out at the land and keeping it dry and keep on par for our construction time frame, we'll take the lack of rain as a good thing. Alright, so I am back home now and brought all 3 of our boxes inside. I'm getting ready to go through them, and I'm going to go ahead and separate them into cuts so that it will be easier for me to tell you how much of what cuts we got on this go around. This ended up being smaller than 200 pounds of pig that we're used to getting. I guess just timing purposes, we had to get this one to processor a little bit quicker. So its live weight was about 145 pounds, and its processed weight, it was about 120 pounds. So live weight includes snout to tail, so all of the bones, the legs, the head, all of that stuff. And then once it's processed, they just weigh the meat that we keep. And I did notice that they did not include the pig head this time, which is fine. We don't usually use that. I usually give to somebody else that can use it because I don't know what to do with it and I don't like wasting it. And we did not get any lard or fat this time. I'm assuming it was a pretty lean pig, which is fine. We don't typically render our own lard, but if we had some, we would. Yeah, so let me show you what we got. So we got 4 packages of pork spare ribs that are about 1.5 pounds per package here. We got maybe 8 to 10 packages of pork side, which is what you make bacon out of. Our processor does not smoke or cure bacon at their facility, so this is something that we will have to smoke and cure at home ourselves. So maybe we'll do a video on how to smoke some bacon for you guys here soon. It's delicious and better than any grocery store bacon you ever had. We've got probably, let's say, 12 to 15 packages of pork chops. These are bone-in pork chops, about 1 pound per package. So I think a good 1-inch cut pork chop, 2 of them per package to equal about 1 pound a piece. And then we have 2 pork picnic roasts here. These are close to 5 pounds a piece. These are good crock pot roasts here. We have 4 pieces of neck roast. These are bone-in as well, and they are about 2 to 2.25 pounds per piece. Then we have 2 hams here, giant hams. These are a little over 12 pounds a piece, and they are not smoked or cured either, so they will need to have that done if you wish to do it that way, or you can do a fresh ham. Then we have 2 packages of pork hocks. These are good for seasoning beans or potatoes, that sort of thing. These come in about 1.5 pounds to 1.75 pounds a piece. We have 2 Boston butts here. They are about 2.5 pounds a piece. Actually, no. This one is about 2.5, and this one is about 3.5 pounds. So Boston butt's good for pulled pork. Here's our pork tenderloins. Not huge. You can tell he was kind of a little guy. They are both about 1/2 pound a piece. And then we have in our box here probably maybe 8 to 9 packages of mild pork sausage, and these are 1 pound a piece. I do ask for their no MSG blend, so this is just pork, salt, spices, and sugar. So this is the cleanest pork that they offer at our processor, and it tastes really great. And then lastly, you do usually end up with some parts and pieces that you might not use, or maybe you do, but you know, we try to do our best with what we have. We have the 4 pork feet here, Some people do eat that, make stock or soups or whatever. I have not been that adventurous yet, as well as the pork livers here. And technically you can get every single part and piece of the pig. I mean, if you pay for the whole pig, you definitely can get it all. Our processor knows that most people don't typically use that stuff, but I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I think it's great to use every part of an animal that's sacrificing itself for you. And a lot of those parts that Americans don't typically eat are the most nutritious for you. So I would like to learn how to use those more exotic cuts of the animals. So if you have any good tips or recipes, please leave them in the comments below. I'd be interested to see how you use these pieces. Okay, our pig is in the freezer and getting nice and cold again. It got really hot really fast outside, so I went ahead and transferred that as quick as I can, and I'll organize it a little bit later once it cools back down. I did want you guys to know that each processor might have different cuts that they offer. This is kind of like the general package, I guess you could say, that most people order. You can customize a couple of things, like if you want bone-in pork chops versus bone-out sort of thing, as well as like your type of sausage, if you want hot sausage, or if you'd rather just have ground pork with no seasonings, you can do that. If you want your ham to be cut into chunks or steaks or pieces, you can also have that done. So there's a couple of different ways that you can customize your order. This is just the way that we do it because they're the most common that we use throughout the week here at home. So now that you have seen exactly how much meat you can get off of about 150-pound pig, I want to go over the numbers with you so that you can see what this would cost you to purchase a whole pig and if it's economical for your family or not. So it weighed in at 146 pounds live, and then 120 pounds once it was dressed out. So like I said before, you end up taking away the weight of a lot of the skin and the head and some other things that, you know, add extra weight, bones and that sort of thing. Now you can request to have all of these things given back to you, like I also mentioned, but this is something that we don't typically use ourselves, so if they have another purpose for it, I just let them keep it. So we paid our farmer $225 for raising the pig for us. We usually pay about $200 for a 200-pound pig. With the rising prices of everything, you know, we paid a little bit more this time. Once the pig was weighed and we saw that it was, you know, a good bit less than 200 pounds, we do have a credit towards our next animal that we'll be picking up. So this isn't exact, you know, what we normally pay for a whole pig, but I'll give you a roundabout number just so you get an idea. So we paid our farmer about $225. You could go ahead and say $200 just because of the overage that we ended up paying this time. We paid our processor $168 total, so that puts us at $368. And then we divide that by 120 pounds worth of meat, and that puts us at $3.06 per pound. So is it a lot cheaper than going to the grocery store? For some cuts, I would say yes. And then for other cuts, probably not. You can probably go to Piggly Wiggly and get 99-cent per pound something pork related. But for us, knowing exactly how this pig was raised and what is in the meat, that it's pure quality, it's worth paying that little bit extra. And it's nice to know that we have the security of a whole pig in the freezer, and it's something throughout the months of the year that I don't have to worry about running to the store and grabbing more meat for dinner. We always have something in the freezer that I can thaw real quick and make for dinner. So for us, it just makes sense to buy a whole pig. And like I said, sometimes we split it with family, so it works out even better for everyone. But I hope this was informative for you and gives you an idea of what to expect if this is something that you're looking forward to doing in the future. If you have any kind of questions for me about the process, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Be sure to stay tuned for some preparation videos with our pork sides, turning them to bacon, maybe the ham, and some other pork recipes. So we look forward to seeing you guys back again soon, and we'll see you later.